and I buy the groceries. And your deal is that you're supposed to help with laundry, and you haven't been doing it. And now I'm underwearless. My ball sack is on this chair. And you don't care.
No one asked you to use all your boxers within 3 days. I do it once a week,
3
every weekend.
days. You did this last week too. You have not.
You weren't even around last week.
You have not been working on your end of the deal. You know what? I've been working so good on my end of the deal that I even got you food.
They did a collab. You are my universe. Say I just want to put you first.
The only reason why I doubt those are the lyrics is because every time you sing a song, never the lyrics.
Excuse me, that is right.
There we go with the accents again. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Genius Brain Podcast. We have my co-host for the day, Mariel Song. There's no crowd here. Nobody's cheering for you at all whatsoever. What the hell are you doing?
Konnichiwa, Mari desu.
Did you ever perform when you were a kid? Like in front of crowds?
Absolutely.
You never did anything? Like at church or anything?
I have one that I remember when I was in 3rd grade. I don't know what we're doing, but we're on stage and I had to hold on to this like paper. And I remember you know how like you're on stage, you have spotlights coming through?
Mm-hmm.
That's my first time dealing with spotlight. And I don't know if I was being dramatic or not, but I was just like, I think I'm going to fall. I think I'm going to faint. That's all I was thinking. So I think that shows that, no, I don't do it.
You never performed anything as a kid? They didn't make you sing, dance, or anything like that?
At church, I was Virgin Mary. So all I had to do was carry a roll of paper, a roll of a towel.
Oh, for the baby?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
That's pretty much it. And band concerts.
I remember as a kid going to church and having every year we had to like do a Christmas song. We had to perform all that other stuff. There's a video of me somewhere. Hopefully I'll find it when I get back home.
You sing?
No, I didn't like singing when I was a kid.
It's funny to be like little David singing R&B.
First of all, I was never little. So like I specifically remember this videotape. It's somewhere. But in this videotape, everybody's wearing a white turtleneck. First of all, because that's what we had to do. It was for Christmas and we were supposed to sing Christmas carols or whatever in front of the adult ministry.
Yeah.
At this point, I had my growth spurt. So
How old were you?
I'm in 6th grade. I'm like 7 inches taller than everybody else. I look like one of the teachers.
Oh my God.
And I'm just in the corner with my bowl cut and this turtleneck with like food stains all over it.
Oh my God.
Because it's a white turtle. Because I used to always I was a dirty ass kid.
I bet you are.
And I just remember just sitting there I look so stupid. Why do I have to do this? Because I'm so much bigger than everybody else. And then nobody else had the growth spurt yet, but I was like the first one, so I was a giant. But I used to hate performing. I used to hate doing praise. I hated singing. I hated doing the whole Father Abraham. You know when you're a kid, Father Abraham had many sons of Father Abraham. No, I am one of them, and so are you. Yeah. So let's just praise the Lord. Right arm, Father Abraham. I mean,
Gamure. Me, so I actually did a
Gamure.
Gamure.
What does that mean?
I barely remember that.
That sounds like
melody.
You were making fun of Korean people.
What? What do you mean?
Like you were imitating the Korean language.
No, that's an actual phrase.
Oh.
It's called like when it's like fuzzy. It's just like, I could barely remember. Because now that you mention it, yeah, at church we did a lot of performance. Like I have pictures of me like pretending I'm dancing or whatever. There was this one, I don't know if you did this, but it was a traditional Korean folk song or something where
what the hell?
Basically you partner up with opposite gender and you do this like flirty dance. Where you cover
I know
your
that
face.
one. You know what? I think North Korea did that. Remember the little girl in North Korea? She performed it.
Yeah, I don't recall.
but it's like they're flirting, like
yeah,
you know.
Yeah, actually, it is. Yeah, they like cover their face and they go hello, and then peekaboo, 엄마 나 이러지 마세요. It's like that.
Do it again.
No.
Do it again. No.
Yeah, I know we used to do that. A group performance, I think I've done it multiple times. Anyway, yeah, I've done it before. Now that I think about it, I did hip hop dance before. Like,
yeah, you have performed then.
Yeah, I have.
How do you forget that?
Why do you? I don't know.
How do you forget that?
I don't know, because I'm forgetful. It doesn't retain in my brain. But why do you ask?
Because we're on a podcast. I'm asking questions. What do you mean? Why do you ask?
It was just
Did you forget that we're shooting right now?
No, it was just a random question.
You're not being interrogated right now. Why do you ask?
It was just the first question. I'm like, you must have brought it up for a reason. But also, you maybe just asked as a random question. Oh, yes, I have.
Did you forget that we're recording right now?
I don't know.
She's like, why'd you ask? She's all threatening me. Why did you ask?
What do you want to know?
You interrogated me before.
No, so when it came to like a group performance, I actually loved it. I enjoyed it. I don't remember any fear. But when I had to do flute recital, where you're up in the stage by yourself, I freaked out. I'm always off.
Wait, you were, is this for church?
No, it's just, I used to
Oh my God, I just remembered. I had piano recitals too.
Oh yeah? I did not.
I hated it.
I hated it.
I freaking hated it.
From church or as like a private tutor?
No, our parents.
Lesson?
Well, I wanted to learn how to play the piano when I was really young. And then, but the type of music that I wanted to play, my parents didn't teach me, right? So we had a piano teacher. She was a Korean lady. And
from church?
Yeah, she wasn't from our church actually.
Oh, okay.
But she was referred to somebody from church. But then we learned how to play, the classical piano.
Yeah.
Mozart and all of the shit. I didn't want to learn any of that stuff. So the piano that was being taught to me wasn't the one that I wanted to learn. So we did it for like a few years. Then my brother had to learn piano because I did it, and he hated me for it because he didn't want to learn piano, but I did. And then it just wasn't the type of music that I enjoyed though.
What's the type of music you like?
I want to learn like jazz. Even as a little kid, I want to learn jazz and stuff because I used to watch The Cosby Show. And so The Cosby Show, like Bill Cosby.
How come you like The Cosby Show?
The Cosby Show was the shit. It was like the funniest show to me. As I got older, it became funnier and funnier. But it was just a really funny sitcom.
I don't think I ever had the chance to watch The Cosby Show when I was younger, like at that age. Maybe like in middle school, high school when it was rerun, but not when I was a kid.
I was super young too. So I'm pretty sure everything that I saw was a rerun. So by the time that I started watching, it was probably like in his last season. But then I started watching the reruns when I was a kid.
They played jazz there?
Oh, dude. Heathcliff Huxtable on the show, which was Bill Cosby. He loved jazz. And
yes, I remember that.
He was a huge jazz fan. So they'd always talk about jazz. So I wanted to learn how to play jazz piano. But instead, I got classical music and I hated it.
They wouldn't let you play jazz? Or maybe...
I don't think the teacher knew how to play that stuff, though.
Yeah.
Like you need a
not in Korean community.
Which is kind of weird, though, because I wonder... I don't think any Korean kid learned piano for what they wanted to learn it for. It was just something that you did. Because almost every Korean kid learned how to play the piano.
Yeah, it's like... I think, in some community, playing violin is a basic thing.
Did you used to get hit if you didn't get the notes right?
No.
Oh, shit.
I mean, maybe because I'm a girl, but no.
I got hit. My hands got hit with a stick. Pop.
What the fudge? Are you kidding me?
Dude, this lady was fucking harsh, man.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I can't even count I can't count the like how many times I had to get a new teacher because the amount of times I had to move around. So I think I had maybe one piano teacher every year.
That's crazy.
So I didn't get to learn much. I mean, also, I don't think I didn't like piano when I was growing up. It just seemed like more of it's like kind of equivalent to reading a book where it wasn't a reward for me. It was the opposite. So
performing always gave me anxiety. I hated it. I hated performing so much. And even to this day, because I perform now, I don't know if I like it. I think I just do it. Because I developed the skill for it. But performing gives me anxiety.
Here's the thing. Do you get anxiety just being out there? Or like if you're there solo versus there with a group of folks that you know? Does the anxiety change? It's the same
thing. It doesn't matter.
Really?
I don't know what it is, but I've never liked crowds. I never liked big groups of people. I don't like it at all. I'm a major introvert. And I think the crazy thing is, I think pandemic made it worse because the less I had to be around people. This is a skill that you have to develop over time. And one of those things too, it's like whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, right? You can't, in my personal opinion, and I'm pretty sure there's like psychological documents that could back this up. You can't turn an introvert into an extrovert. You can only learn how to navigate through social situations, right?
Yeah.
My whole life, I assumed I was an extrovert, right? Only because I didn't like performing, but I enjoyed what happened after I performed, right? So after I do my set, after I play music or whatever, I enjoyed getting it over with, and I enjoyed that other people were laughing, and that was the feeling that you chase. But when you give me the option of not having to do it, I don't think I'd do it, right? So let's say, and I think that's what I mean by like pandemic makes it worse, because when pandemic happened, all the shows stopped, all the traveling stopped, and then it stopped becoming habit. Now a lot of the stuff that we do now is here. It's inside the house. I'm not really doing much in terms of outside of this house, because now we're doing podcasting and everything else. So that social anxiety has gotten worse than it was before. Like, yeah, I can still go out. I can go ahead and talk, schmooze or whatever, but it's definitely something that takes a lot more energy out of me than it did before, because I'm not in practice anymore. And if you don't practice this shit as an introvert, it fucks you up. Because if you don't have to be around it, you don't, especially when you're older. When you're older, if you don't want to be around shit, you don't have to be around shit. You have that choice. As you get older, your level of bullshit, the amount of bullshit that you can deal with decreases, and you have the option of not being around people. Like when you're in high school, right? There are some people in the group in your high school that you just deal with just because it's annoying, because they're just there. They're a part of the group. If I say something, it makes things awkward, whatever, I'll just deal with them.
Yeah.
But when you're older, you could just be like, I don't gotta be a part of this group.
Yeah.
It's harder when you're younger because you have all this external pressure. When you're older, you don't feel anything at all, especially when you find a partner that you love and you care about and you get married, you care even fucking less. Because now like the people that matter the most are going to be your wife, your kids, your parents, and that's really about it.
I wonder what it's going to be like now, because like so many companies out there are now, have been announcing that they're indefinitely working remotely. So those who had daily opportunities to socialize and kind of build that skill, because I'm one of them too. The fact that I haven't been doing the usual routine of meeting folks and everything, that when I thought I was more social, and I'm okay because I've been going out and about, we go Hawaii and stuff, I see my friends, but recently I found out that I'm actually very awkward now. Like my body reacts without even me knowing about it. And so I'm wondering how the society is going to be now, the fact that so many big companies are now working remotely. So we have in a way, introvert has the advantage of staying, not having to deal with social anxiety, but also they might be losing that experience or that skill. Like how you said that you're out of practice. I feel like what's going to happen? Like how much more awkward are we going to be?
It's tough. And I don't know if people agree with this or not, but social skills are very fucking important.
And it's so hard.
It's harder for us as introverts, right? We have a steeper hill to climb, conversely with people who are extroverts, because they get energy from being around people. When they're around a group of people, when they do group activities, when they aren't by themselves, they feel energized by other people's vibe and energy and everything else like that. For us, if you are an introvert, and you guys might know this too, if you are an introvert, when you go outside, you socialize, it takes from you. It makes you exhausted. When you come home, you're tired. You enjoyed the interaction maybe or something like that, but you feel like people have been taking from you.
What about your close friends? Like when you have one-on-one time with your close friends?
I think those are fine, right? One-on-one's fine because it's not a lot of people, right? But even then, it's a select amount of people I could be around for that long. It's not one-on-one with everybody. Like there are certain people who want to hang out with me one-on-one, and I know that talking to them is fucking exhausting. So I avoid them like the plague.
Yeah, that's true.
Just because for some reason, the conversation always leads to something that takes away from me a lot, versus us just being around each other and being able to vibe. There's very few people that I could do that with where I could hang out almost every day with. Like one of them is like Gabo. The other one now is Khalif. Like I could hang out with them pretty much virtually 2-3 times a week, and we just joke around and fuck around, and it's a good time.
Yeah.
The hard part about that is like, finding out what type of introvert. There are people out there who are just like debilitated, where they only want to be by themselves, maybe one other person, and everything else stresses them out. The problem with that is like that I've been seeing with people during pandemic is when they interact with people when they try to date. Dating has been a huge issue for people who have been introverted, who haven't talked to people, who haven't practiced the skill of speaking to people. Because talking to somebody online versus face-to-face is so different.
Oh, yeah.
It's not the same. There are physical cues that you now have to be mindful for that you didn't have to deal with.
Yeah.
All you were dealing with was with the words and just interpreting what these words means within this small like digital realm.
Yeah.
Well, now when you're face-to-face with somebody, now you have to analyze, oh, why did they move their hand this way?
Yeah.
Or, am I making them feel uncomfortable? They're kind of pulling back a little bit. You have visual cues.
You know, that's what happened to me. Like over the weekend, I went to this one Korean restaurant to have dinner with a friend, and it was like crowded, but I mean, I would say in my head, I was like, wow, this is actually kind of crowded. But at the same time, like I've been like at Disneyland, crowd space before. So I was like, oh, it's not a problem. And then the server came up and I was gonna order in Korean. But something with her energy or the way, I think she was looking at me, and I think that kind of threw me off. Of course, she would be looking at me because she's waiting for me to say something. My voice just changed. And I didn't even hear my voice change, so she started laughing. And I was like, I was so done, just confused. And I looked at my friend, she also laughed. And I was like, okay, I'm ready to order. So I ordered. She left, and I asked my friend, I was like, what happened? Why you guys are laughing? And she's like, didn't you hear your voice? It changed. And I couldn't tell if you were like choking or what that was. And then later on, she kind of sees that I was very awkward and like anxious. But yeah, stuff like that. It's that I'm talking to people every day. That's my job. But the energy that I'm getting from people, I'm not used to that. When they're so close to me, I kind of freak out.
There's so much more things to assess that you didn't have to assess before. So it's uncomfortable now.
What's funny is that because I'm noticing this about myself, I'm actually having a hard time to reach out folks who've been reaching out to me to hang out. Because I feel like I'm not in a good stage right now to meet people. Like I feel like if we meet up, I will be awkward.
I mean, I feel fine with friends, right? And at the end of the day, you've seen me around people. Like nobody would know that I'm an introvert.
No.
Nobody knows. Everybody thinks I'm fucking extroverted. They think I am,
Do you tell them that you're an introvert and you hate it? To be out in the public, like in a crowd?
Well, my close friends know I don't like big crowds. They know that for a fact, right? So like so for an example, there was one friend who we were supposed to have dinner with just 2 people, right? It was me, another friend, and another friend. Well, little did I know, this person invited like 7 other people that he was kicking it with in K-Town at the time. And that shit irritated the fuck out of me, right? Not because I wanted to hang out one-on-one and have a great conversation. It's just that this person knows that I don't deal well with crowds. And specifically what happens because of my anxiety starts to spike. And then what happens is I look like I fucking hate people. You know what I mean? It's very apparent in my face. Like people have seen this where I meet somebody I don't know, and as they're speaking, it looks like I want to fucking kill them, And it has nothing to do with them. I'm irritated. At that point, I was just irritated at the situation that this person knows that I have social anxiety to the max, and they invite 7 people that I don't fucking know. They're drunk as hell, talking super loud, touching me, doing all this other shit. And then just my anxiety starts to rise, and then I try to mask my anxiety with anger. And then because I don't know what it does, but anger makes you seem like you're a more confident person, but really I'm just irritated all around. And so like those type of things, like my close friends know I have this issue.
So for all those college shows you have done, how did you deal with
I have to mentally prepare myself. That's not easy. We were so Mariel and I, like, was it this morning or was it yesterday? It was yesterday, but we had like this. So in the morning, basically, she wanted me to go to an event, and then my knee-jerk reaction is I don't want to go. Typically what happens with like big events or when people are there, I immediately choose to opt out. And just like I was saying before, if it's a situation that I can control that I don't have to be in, I'm most likely going to choose the option where I don't want to be there because I know my behaviors. Like when my anxiety spikes, I try to cover it up with just being very stoic, not having any emotions, but that comes off as me becoming really aggressive. This is what happens all the time. And it's just a lot to deal with. So my knee-jerk reaction is that I can't do it. Now, I did have something during the day, but I immediately went to, no, can't do it, when really I should have taken the time to really think I can. And I think even for Mariel, she didn't understand how much work it takes for me to be in social settings. I have to mentally prepare myself all the time. It's like before I do a show, this show is booked out a month ahead. So now I mentally prepare myself. Okay, there's going to be a lot of people around me.
What about something like Send Foods, where you're in a crowd, but you're not technically interacting, but then you got a good amount of folks around you?
Yeah, but I don't have to interact with them though, because I'm shooting.
Right, but so that's okay.
That's fine. I'm not interacting with them though. I'm just in a group setting, but everybody's away from me because I'm with crew. People aren't really next to me.
Or what about the crew themselves?
That's fine. I've known them now for 6-7 years. Like John, Andrew, Luis, and then like the crew people we've already met. Like this is, it's kind of hard to explain, right? Because especially when you're in a social setting where you're supposed to be social, that shit's annoying. That's why I don't like doing weddings. Weddings bother me the most because of me having to socialize with people that I literally could give a fuck less about. Having to smile, make them laugh, do all this other stuff. It's obnoxious. Like I fucking hate it.
I mean, there's difference between not liking it, because everybody has to do that, versus you have anxiety for that.
Yeah.
So which one is it?
It's not different. It's kind of goes hand in hand.
Because people, I mean, like, for example, I have to go to weddings, right, where I meet folks that I don't know. And I mean, I would rather use that time talking to strangers and I'd rather use that time to talk to friends that I care about. But then I also need to cater, sometimes to folks that I don't know. It's not, I don't like it.
But see, that's a difference. What I'm saying, you just don't like it.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like you said that you don't like it. So I'm asking, is it?
I don't like it because the anxiety that happens. It's like
because there's anxiety behind it.
I don't like it. And I also just don't like being around people I don't fucking know. So it's like, it's compounded with everything. Like these social settings are hard. Like it's difficult. I just hide it very well. And I've also just kind of learned how to deal with it. This is the same shit my dad deals with all the time. I know for a fact now that I'm older, my dad has social anxiety to the fucking max, but he was a pastor. So he learned how to mask his stuff through, the religious work that he had to do. There was a goal in mind, right? It was that he wanted to spread the word or the love of God. But if you look at my dad's circle is very small. You don't ever see my dad go into social situations that are big with a lot of people. And I watch and I observe him around a group of people he doesn't know. He's very awkward. And I could see his anxiety. I see the same shit that I deal with that he has. So I don't know if I learned it from him or if I picked up these behaviors from him. But I recognized this in myself super early on when I started trying to do stand-up when I was 16. And I couldn't figure out why before. I mean, everybody, when they perform, they feel anxious, right? But then I started breaking it down. Even when I was super young as a teenager, it's like, how do you like performing, but you freak out every fucking time? Why is it that you can't even order food at a restaurant and you start to freak out? Like that, I used to not be able to order food. I couldn't go into a restaurant and order food off a menu because the menu selection would freak me the fuck out. And I was afraid that if I ordered something, I would order something wrong. It wasn't right. They would question what I would order. This is what anxiety does. It puts you in this weird fucking spiral and you start going to this stupid shit. So when I recognized that I had the same issue that my dad would have, and this would be like something small of like the anxiety of like not knowing how to speak English. Mm-hmm. So my dad would always have me do all the internet stuff, the bill stuff, and he would have me talk on the phone. And I would deal with anxiety because I didn't know what I was talking about. And I freak out because I don't know what I'm talking about. Which is why, if you notice, one of my biggest habits is that I tend to over-research things. Mm-hmm. It's because it helps with my anxiety. It helps me. If I know these things that are going to happen, I can make adjustments later on. So I like to be 3 or 4 steps ahead.
But when it comes to going out and about, you don't like to plan it.
Yeah, because there's nothing bad that's going to happen. Like, what's going to happen if I go to Hawaii and then... Do you see what I'm saying?
Well, what?
But like, for example, if I start cooking a dish, right? I buy all these ingredients.
Well, that one, yeah. There's a result.
The thing burns, something doesn't happen. I just wasted a whole crap ton of food. I have to go back to the grocery store, rework this, start it from scratch. That's different. If I'm traveling to Hawaii like a vacation, I literally could care less because I don't have an end result that I'm trying to achieve. I'm just there just to have a good time. So my anxiety doesn't spike there too. And plus I'm not around people either. So it doesn't really matter. But my dad has dealt with this for a very long time. And then when I recognized it myself, I started making steps to kind of learn how to mask or change it or build the habit of being social. And that was through me observing other people being social. I felt like an alien. Like sometimes when you have like social anxiety, you feel like you're an alien trying to learn how other people interact with other human beings. That's what it feels like. Because you look at other people and you go, wow, how the fuck did they do that?
Is that why you like that one dude who like learned a language within a week fluently, and he was talking about how he likes to mimic social
No. I like
interaction?
that just because it's novelty. It's like a white guy that
Well,
speaks.
that's what you sound like when you say that,
Yeah.
because that's what he said too.
Yeah, for me, it's just more like, how do they do that? Like I used to, one of my buddies, like when we used to go to clubs, right? When we were kids, like we were like 17, 18 years old. And I would watch this guy talk to any girl. And before I would talk to a girl, I would just be sitting in my head spinning, you know, what happens if I talk to her? What do I say? Where do I take the conversation? What if she says no? What if she doesn't like me? I'm not that attractive. Do I have to be funny? What more? And all these things would spin in my head. And this motherfucker would just walk up and be like, what's up, man? My name is blah, 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 blah. And then she'd be like, I'm good. And he walks away. He goes, all right, then goes to another girl. Goes to another girl. And I started learning, oh, this guy doesn't have this anxiety when it comes to approaching people, talking people. When he's in a group setting, he talks to anybody and everybody. And I started picking up his habits because I'm like, okay, he did this. He didn't die. So I started like kind of, when I started approaching women in these open settings, I started just copying what he does. But he didn't have the feelings that I had though. I still felt it. I just started masking how I felt. And I started doing this thing where I started accepting these negative outcomes that would happen that wouldn't kill me. It's like, I got rejected. Damn, this shit hurts. You know, but I'd be like, it's cool. And I would pretend like it didn't hurt, move on. But afterwards, when I come home, I'm like, fuck, that shit sucked. You know?
I think a lot of people are like that though. Don't you think so? In that kind of sense of like, how you feel at the end of it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do.
Like
you know,
they cover, most of their feeling because they don't want to show their weakness. But then at home, they're just like crying.
Yeah, for sure. And I think a lot of people do feel that way.
I did a similar thing too, but I don't know if it's anxiety or lack of social skills that I had. Because I used to also watch folks, whether like how people interacted and some of the phrases people use. Like I literally would draw notes. I would like write down the notes of phrases that they use or like when they use it, why they use it, the intonation of it, so that I could be more, I don't know, Americanized, or I could feel more like I know what I'm saying, kind of. If not, I feel like I was like a ghost.
Yeah.
But I had similar experience in that kind of stuff, but I don't know if it's an anxiety. I don't know. I'm always a nervous person. Like socializing was always a hard thing for me. And I learned how to cope with it too. You're really good at public speaking. Like when you had to when you didn't know that you had to be in front of a wedding and talk, you pulled it through so well.
But did you see the mental anguish that I went through before?
That is very realistic. I'm like realistic. What is the word? Like I would have been sweating. I think you handled it so well.
I was sweating. I sweated through my whole fucking shirt.
And you killed it. If I were there, I would have said stuff and people would be like, what is she saying?
But that's the interesting thing too, though. That's why I'm saying it's all practice.
And you did really well.
So when people assume that, he's a natural, motherfucker, this has never been natural for me. It has never, ever been natural for me. This is super. Like I said, I couldn't order a burger from McDonald's because I would freak the fuck out. I would literally freak out.
How do you order so well now? You make fun of me that I can't order.
Exactly.
It's all because of the reasons that you said.
And I'll tell you this too, though. We all know about projection. We project stuff out from other people that we hate in the qualities that we see in ourselves. So when I see you do that, I see that quality that I hate in myself.
Then why do you have to lash it on me?
I don't lash out.
Yeah, you do. You'll be like, oh my gosh, come on. Everyone's waiting for you.
Okay. The difference is
you can't say the difference. The more you do that, the more anxiety goes up. You should know that, David.
Hey, listen, let me tell you this, though. The difference is is how you are inconsiderate of everybody else.
I'm trying to be considerate.
If I get anxiety from what I do is I don't go in line and sit there and ask a barista 30 questions about what the drink is. I step out of line.
Because I'm considerate, I say, you guys go first so I could think about it.
You don't do that at coffee places.
I'm not talking about coffee place. I'm talking about that one incident that you mentioned it to everyone in Hawaii.
Oh, the one where everybody...
And then yet, you were still saying, come on, and you're putting that anxiety even higher. I even said it out loud. I was like, you're making me very anxious here. I'm like, you should know that. And you should not do that if you know it.
You know what I would have done? I would have said, get everybody else to order. Can you come back to me in 5 minutes? This podcast is brought to you by Purple, my friends. It's funny. There are all these gimmicks that promise a great night's sleep, and I don't care what kind of toppers there are or how heavy your damn blanket is. It's just lipstick on a stupid pig. If you're sleeping on a terrible mattress, your sleep will be terrible. It's that simple. That's why I recommend sleeping on a Purple mattress. The Gel Flex Grid is amazingly supportive for your back and legs, and I gotta tell you, man, if I'm not sleeping on my Purple, I ain't sleeping that well at all. Every time I travel and I don't have my Purple mattress, I think about it. I think about my Purple mattress and I cry. Yes, real tears, and it soaks into that stupid mattress because it's not my Purple mattress. Oh, getting a great night's sleep starts with having a great mattress. Get a Purple mattress. Go to purple.com/brain10 and use code BRAIN10 for a limited time. You can get 10% off any order of $200 or more. That's purple.com/brain10, code BRAIN10 for 10% off any order of $200 or more. Purple.com/brain10, promo code BRAIN10.
You think that would have worked? Because she would be like, I want to order, like she wanted to do everyone.
She would do that. That's what a waitress would do.
When you're anxious, you can't really think like that.
Then let me order for you.
I did. I asked you, and you said just pick whatever.
Exactly.
That doesn't help. Pick whatever.
Here's the thing. The reason why I say you can order whatever is basically because I've seen you eat rotten food and enjoy it.
Excuse
me. No matter what you ordered on the menu, it would have been fine.
Rude.
How rude.
How rude.
I have literally seen this woman eat spoiled food. Later on, her stomach hurts. She looks me dead into my eyes and goes, I think it was rotten. And I'm like, listen.
Did I enjoy it though?
And I would go, where's the food? She goes, I ate it. I'm like, what the fuck? Why would you eat it? It's spoiled. She goes, I don't want to waste money. I'm like, it's already wasted. It's spoiled.
You know what? That's what you get. Don't overspend.
Overspend? What are you talking? What are you talking?
You buy Costco size. I'm like, there's only 2 people in the house. Why do we always have to get Costco size?
We eat most of it.
You eat most of it.
Exactly. So what's the problem?
I just try to eat, and then by the time I eat, I'm like, oh, it's spoiled.
My goodness. I really would. I mean, she is getting better. She stopped herself from eating rotten food the other day. She stopped. She goes, I think this is spoiled. I'm not going to eat it. And I saw her throw it away. I'm like, wow, growth.
See, when people don't push you and give you anxiety, then it works, okay? You just need to give them some space. David, you should know about this. Come on now. Why am I teaching you this, huh?
I did give you space. You just are so inconsiderate, dude. You are inconsiderate.
Are you joking?
No. Yes, I'm okay.
Okay, good. I was going to say, do we need to turn this off? Because we need to have a chat. Because I'm so considerate that it's over considerate. I would spend the whole day with someone that I don't even know and you spend my whole time trying to cheer that person up.
You know, we were talking about this too, where, you know, I think one of the things that I think a lot of us do too is we forget how much relationships are very reciprocal, right? So Mariel was talking about this situation where Mariel is somebody who's very, I'm joking about the inconsiderate thing, that these are all jokes. When we laugh, these are jokes.
I made it serious so he would stop making fun of me.
Yeah, this little asshole. But she's a little over considerate in the sense that she tends to put other people's emotions first before herself, to the point where sometimes when she does that, she tends to lash out at me because she does something. She goes, well, I did that for you. I never asked her to do it for me. But what happens is that when you kind of do things for other people and not for yourself, when you don't get the end result that you want, you tend to get hurt from it, right? Because the crappy situation about that is that you can't control how other people feel about stuff that you do for them. And so when you don't get that end result, you get hurt because you did it for them, even though the end result is it's a wild card. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. You shouldn't, it's hard. I don't want to expect that, but I'm expecting something.
Exactly. So like when you give out of the goodness of your heart. Whatever the end reaction is, that just is what it is.
Yeah.
It's happened that we mentioned on the podcast when we would travel and she would do these itineraries. And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, we're going to experience together. We'll see if we like it or not. And if I didn't like it, she took it as I failed. When really in my mind, I'm like, no, we just didn't like it. It's what it is.
Let's give it a try. Thumbs up or thumbs down. But for me, I'm like, I hope everything's thumbs up. That's my expectation. If it's thumb down, I'm like, damn.
Which is unrealistic for her, right? It's an expectation that she sets for herself that has a high probability of failing, and it hurts like it's something personal.
Yes. And my therapist has told me recently, be kind to yourself, Mariam. That was the first thing she taught me earlier this year. And then now I'm like, we're circling back again. Be kind to yourself.
Yeah. And I think like one of the things that she has to deal with a lot is her giving a lot to people and then people not understanding that it's draining her, right? And so when I talk about this, and I talk about this consistently when it comes to friendships, people confuse friendships with people who use them, right? And I don't mean to say this, that people do this on purpose in a malicious way. It's just that sometimes we also forget that in my personal opinion, great friendships are reciprocal. We both gain something from this. It's not monetary. It's not something. But it's some type of support. It's some type of bond or connection that you feel to somebody, right? And that's beyond just bonding through tragedy. It's something bigger than that, right? I think with her, when people kind of unload their emotional baggage on her, she wants to listen. She wants to help. She wants to be there for this person. But when you start your relationship off as somebody's quote unquote therapist, that's where your friendship lies. I've had this happen multiple times to me because I want to listen, and me being a youth pastor.
I remember you coming back being so drained, and you would tell me that so-and-so just talked about their life and their trouble. And I seen you so many times. I was like, again, different person this time? And you seem so defeated.
It's not even just like defeated. It helped me reevaluate what my position is in this person's life. Are we friends, or am I here just to listen to your problems? When does this person call me up? This person only calls me up when they're running away from their husband. When they're when they're running away from their husband, when they're running away from their wife, when they have issues or problems. That's the only time you call me. And then when we walk away, I give you all these pearls of wisdom, or I give you my ear, my shoulder to cry on, everything else like that. But what happens is, like, if I need that same thing, I can't get it from this person. There's no
you should get paid for that then.
Yeah, something. I don't like it. Just something like this person just comes into my life, takes and takes and takes, and they think that we're on equal ground. We're not on equal ground. You have taken and taken and taken, and then when it comes from me, where I need something, you have nothing to offer me. So what happens is I'm more like your parental figure. I'm your emotional tampon, as I call it, where I just take all your emotions in and I get tossed to the side, and that's really what it is. I'm your utility. I'm your tool for your emotions. And then you get to walk away feeling better while I feel like shit. And they're not doing in a malicious way, but like this person I had to cut out because that is the basis of all their relationships.
Is that how it started?
When I look back at it, yeah, that is how our relationship, or what I seemingly thought was us becoming stronger. What happened was that this person would enter my life and then complain about all the terrible stuff that was happening in their marriage, their relationship, or whatever. And I would give them advice. I would give them a shoulder to cry on. They would walk away and they would disappear and come back again whenever they wanted to complain. And it's like, oh, we're actually not friends. I am here just to support you emotionally. You take from me and you walk away. And this person too, by the way, all her relationships are like that. All his relationships are like that too. You
don't think that friend would have accepted you if you came around and said, I need to talk?
For what? No, what I'm saying is I have nothing to gain from them. I can't tell them about my problems. They have no advice to give me. Their shit is always in shambles.
Because I'm wondering, from their point of view, It could have been like, it's give and take. Like, I do this, but then you're more than welcome to do this for me. But then from your point of view is that, well, I can't because you can't relate to me. I can't get your advice because you're not in a good place.
Yeah, and they're never in a good place, right? Or I never know when they are in a good place because they don't ever share good things that happen in their life. Do you see what I'm saying? So I have no gauge to see, okay, is this person in a good state? So we could talk about maybe my issues, or maybe we could talk about something good or happy, because every conversation that you have with them, it has to do with them. They are the center of the universe. And then if you try to talk about your stuff, they somehow wrap it back around to them. It's like, how did you do that? How did you whooshoe this conversation where we're supposed to relate about our issues?
Yeah.
And then it's just right back to you again. And like I said, even with this person, like you look at their relationships now, no friends, absolutely no friends. And like for me, drawing that boundary has been the best thing I've ever done. Now, in this person's mind, they think I'm an asshole. They think that, that I'm just up and gone, that I don't care. But it's like, you have to look at the history. Like, who are your friends? You have no friends. You have nobody around you and every time that somebody feels like you overwhelm them with your problems because all you do is emotionally dump on everybody and they feel like it's too much, you call them assholes. You say that they're.
See, I don't want to be that person, which is why I'm saying like I am these days hesitant to reach out to friends to like, usually I'll be like, hey, let's go and get coffee and catch up. But I hesitate to do that because I feel like I'm in that position of like, I feel like all I'm going to give is just negative energy.
I think there are people in your life that you can do that with as long as you balance it out with other things. Is your relationship predicated on you guys complaining? It's like the same idea that when people think that they can gain friendships by talking shit about somebody else. It's like they get a common enemy, right? And I've seen this too. This person used to do that all the time. They try to create a strong bond between their failing marriage by creating a common enemy. And so they felt like their relationship was getting better when they would talk shit about somebody else. And I was like, that doesn't really work out, because when that common enemy is dead, you guys are just guys are just left with nothing. Yourself now. You're left with nothing. And that's what happens. The common enemy is gone and the problems are still there.
I mean, that's why that is the reason why I can't go. I'm nervous about reaching out, is because we don't talk about negative.
I was reading.
We talk about problems, but not negative.
I was reading. I forgot what I read. It was like some kind of psych. It was a psych paper basically on the initial way that humans bond is through remorse, common interest or common hate.
Yeah.
And I think the strongest one was common hate. Right.
It's a lot easier to bond.
It's a lot easier to bond over an enemy that you hate together, because you guys can gripe about them and whatever. But
you don't have to really be careful of what you say. Yeah. Because it's all like, yes, hate that person.
It's the same reason why people love being the gossip person.
Yes.
Right? They love dishing out information because they want to be the source of that information. It makes them feel super important. It makes, and then people come to them to hear more shit. So they feel like they're the shit.
That's so corporate. Like I think adult life too. Yeah.
I had an employee like that, and I had to warn her about her behaviors of doing that type of stuff. And I had to call her out on that. I was like, hey, you are becoming a person in this company that's not very trustworthy, not because your work is bad, but because you have a bad habit of telling other people's business, because that's how you're trying to gain friendships. I was like, by the way, everybody knows this about you. They may not say it to you, but I will, And at first, she got defensive, and then, but I broke it down to her. I was like, the reason why you're over here saying, oh, this person is, I don't know why, is because they found out the things that you were saying about them when they gave you personal information that you should not have told to other people. Right? And I know that we all do that. We all tell like small little tidbits of stuff to our close and best friends, and they have to keep it quiet. I'm pretty sure all of us do that. We're all guilty of that stuff. But this person would have a habit of telling everybody that person's personal business when they entrusted the stuff that they should have kept secret.
I would never do that. It's same in like work environment too. When I started working in adult environment, I guess, I've been advised, like, be careful with gossip groups. And I didn't know what that meant. I was like, what do you mean? And sure enough, you could see there's like a group of
hens just clucking.
And then just looking with those eyes and talking about it and getting all their information of like what's happening, And like in one way, people actually get attracted to that group because they want to know what's happening. A lot of the time it's about, who's leaving, who's getting promoted, who's having like interaction with someone, It's just they
They thrive off that
They
stuff.
thrive, but also kind of like utilize that to see how they can climb up the ladder, or like who is the right people that they should, be nice to. Who are the people they should not be, like don't have to be nice to. So when I found out, I was like, man, this is bad. I'm like, I just want to be happy. And so I ended up just kind of doing my own thing. And sure enough, something about it, that group started like reaching out to me. I'm like, hey, what's up? Like, oh, do you want to join me? I'm like, no, I don't want to join this group, but thanks for the info. Hop out. And those who are not in there they end up becoming my friends, right? Mm-hmm. And then one of the things that they asked me is like, you look very happy, which I miss. This was pre-COVID. It's like, wow, you look so happy. What do you do? And I was like, I just enjoy my life. I really don't want to get involved in this negative gossip world. And I just want to do what I want to do. And because once you get sucked into that, it feels almost like a cult. You have certain things that you have to report back, or like you have to share this like information.
Yeah, you feel like you have to add to the pot of shit.
Yeah, or else they'll kick you out, or they'll talk shit about you. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's like Mean Girls.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Like these toxic relationships that people build, they think they're friendships. They're not.
Yes.
It's all predicated on one simple thing. Like that friendship that I had with this person, right? She would take. Her idea of friendship is, oh, this person is always going to be here for me. I can't say the same back to you. So is it a friendship? Is it reciprocal? Are we friends? Or am I just somebody around for you to be there so you can dump your emotions on me? This podcast is brought to you by Skillshare, my friends, a longtime sponsor. For those of you who don't know what Skillshare is, it's an online learning community that offers membership with real meaning. And guess what? It's the support of fellow creatives on these classes that empowers you to accomplish real growth. I love my Skillshare classes. And if you want to know, the class that I'm taking right now is actually something that's been helping me grow my plants. Indoor gardening, grow houseplants, veggies, and herbs with ectoshotry. And guess what? My plants are bussin'. They're blooming and they haven't died on me. And I've been buying more plants because now I feel confident. All this stuff has been great classes. And I got to tell you, amazing, super easy to learn. And I don't need to search for hours for the information when it's right there on the Skillshare classes. So explore your creativity at Skillshare.com/brain and get a 1 month free trial of premium membership. That's 1 month of a premium membership at Skillshare.com/brain. So we're not friends, actually. Mm-mm. I am your unpaid therapist. I am your emotional tampon. You're going to throw me away. And look what happened when I disagreed with maybe things that she said, or disagreed with, lifestyles or whatever, or disagreed what he said too. They cut me out. And I'm like, cool. Makes sense now. I get it. Mm-hmm. Right. And that person, no matter what they do, mm-hmm. I'm forever going to be an enemy in their head. Mm-hmm. But when you look at it from the outside perspective, if you ask all the whatever, 30 or 40 or how many people they met in their life, it's like, how is it that everybody else that you met, that you quote unquote cut out, says the same thing about you, but you say different things about everybody else? So there's a common thing involved here. You're the piece of shit. So, and like I said, I don't think there's a malicious intent. There's probably a lot of trauma and other shit behind it. That's why I don't hold any ill intent. But it's sad when I look at it. It's like, you will never have friends because you don't know what it's like to, receive things from a friend, but you don't know how to be a friend. You see friendship, but you don't know how to be a friend.
I see.
And being a friend requires work. It's a relationship.
It is.
Just like our stuff, like we're in love. This is a relationship. It requires work. Friendships require that same amount of work too. Mm-hmm. But when a friendship is good, it feels effortless, but there's still effort.
Oh yeah.
My best friend, we still call each other on the phone. He lives all the way out in New York. It takes, even if we don't talk all the time, all that effort that we put in was in the first 10 years of our friendship. So now it's solid. So now we know that when we continue with our lives, we're doing our other things. When we reconnect, it's super fun and we get it. But it took work for us to build that relationship.
Having that connection when you're so far away and you come back and see each other and it feels like you just met yesterday, I think I love that feeling. I feel like when that happens, it's like we have a solid friendship. Mm-hmm. That's at least to me, that's what it is. If it comes around and it's like, oh, hey, and you don't really have much to talk about, that's like alerting for me. Like, I think we've grown apart. Friendships
are sacred to me. That's why I dislike it when somebody calls me their friend and I'm not their friend. It irritates the fuck out of me.
You have a lot of friends.
I have a lot of acquaintances and I have like a lot of like surface friends, right? Which means that we can have a good time when we see each other, but you see them in my house, they don't get invited to my house. That's a very select amount of people that I invite over for a meal. They could share and they get to meet you and have a good conversation with. But a lot of the times they don't really come into this circle though.
What if you go out and see them?
I could go out and see them because I could choose to be around them. And by the way, when people say this, when I say this, I mean, I know it sounds kind of harsh, but this is the reality of the situation. You have acquaintances, you have surface level friends, you have homies, and then you have the homies, right? I've learned to categorize these people in my life. So there are people right now where I meet them. It's always fun. It's always a good time, but they're not my really close friends though. Like 80% of them aren't going to be at the wedding. You know,
what would you consider close friends? Is it like the longevity or?
It's longevity because longevity, no, that's not true. Longevity is just a small piece of it, right? It's the reciprocated relationship. If I could tell them anything and not have them use it against me, if they could tell me anything and not me use it against them, we can disagree without fighting. I know that this person will always be there for me when I need them. Those are the people that I keep in my life, right?
Because a lot of the times when you say you have when you mention your close friends, you also mention as your reason why they're close friends is because you have known them for X amount of time.
It's not the reason why. I think it's the other way around, right? I keep them around for this long because they're my close friends. Not because they've been around for long, they are my close friends. It's the other way. They've been around for a very long time because of the stuff that we've been through, how we've developed our relationship, how much they've helped me, how much I've helped them. I could bring them around my family. I can bring them around my friends. Like, for example, Joe. I've now known Joe for 10 years. Joe Jitsukawa, right? Joe is somebody that is my close friend. When he brings Hannah into this world, his girlfriend, I see their relationship. I see that he loves and he cares about her. I said, hey, when you're in Sacramento, you guys can stay at my parents' house.
Oh yeah, they did.
That is a friend, right? I can bring you in front of my parents because I trust you. I trust that you can be in this house. I trust that you'll be respectful to my parents and you'll be respectful to my family. Those are my type bonds that I really hold close to. There's a lot of people in this world, and it's harsh when you hear when I say this. There's a lot of people in this world. You fucking die, I could care less. Like, just because we had a couple of good interactions doesn't mean that we're friends. It means that we're good acquaintances, and it's okay for you to call me a good acquaintance too. You don't have to take it personally. That just is what it is. If we spend time with each other, we start sharing meals, we start bonding really close, something happens there, then you become a close friend. For example, Nick is now a really, really close friend, right? But it took him, 4 years? I've known him 4 years now. But we bonded really quick. But even in his case too, it's like there's something reciprocal about this. You know, not just the fact that he was my personal trainer because he helped me lose weight and all that other stuff. We always have a good time. We can talk about our shit. We can think about our ideas and things are great. Like, I know for a fact if he's in trouble, I'd be there for him in a second. And if it was the other way around, I know he'd do the same for me, right? Not because of something that he could gain from me, not because of some social clout that he could gain. It's simply because we enjoy each other's presence and that's it.
Is that a lot on your mind when you make friends?
No, because I don't care to make new friends.
When you start seeing, let's just say you meet new people and...
Oh, like in a social? Oh, 100%, right? Like there's a kid that I met, like he looked up to me a lot, right? And like he's successful out in this space too, like in the entertainment space too. And I could just smell his desperation about how bad he wanted to be in my friend circle. And it's like, no, you don't get to be in my friend circle just because you looked up to me. That's years and years of work. You know? Like the fact that you think you have ownership of my friendship and my time simply because, you know, I did something in this entertainment space that influenced your life. I appreciate it, but you are not my friend and I should not be your friend either. And this person got hurt because like I heard through other people that like, oh yeah, like he's super mad at you. Like because he followed you and you didn't follow him back after you guys met. I'm like, what am I, a fucking 13-year-old, you stupid bitch? Like, The fuck? I don't know you. I don't care. And there's close friends too that I didn't even know that I wasn't even following them on Instagram because I just don't care. Look at my fucking Instagram. It looks like shit. Do I have an aesthetic to it? Do I have anything? I just post whenever the fuck I want. You know?
And you and I are the same page on that.
Exactly. Like we don't really put that much love and thought into our Instagram. Like it's just, it is what it is. And so, this person felt that we were friends after meeting once. And this person's somebody who likes to fuck on the first date. That person will forever, ever develop false relationships unless they fix that habit because they're doing an extreme version of your previous habit of expecting something for no fucking reason. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, I met this person who's my hero. We had a good interaction. We should be best friends. Says who? Says who?
Yeah.
The fact that you think that you have ownership of my emotions simply because we met each other is fucking stupid. And in fact, you're overstepping your boundaries and it makes me dislike you a lot.
I have similar feelings, but at the same time, different because it's not people's fault, but sometimes I put my guard up when there are folks who instantly become very like 친근해, very close to me physically and also wanting to get close to me. And I think it's because of my experience when I was a kid where like, a random girl would come up to me like, let's be best friends.
And they kind of do bad shit to you.
And then they're a backstabber. So anything when they want to like all of a sudden become BFFs or like they think that we're good friends out of nowhere, I freak out. And it's not because they have bad intention. Like, I don't know you, but at the same time, like, whoa, get off my...
Well, I wonder if people agree, right? And this is for people who have developed bad relationships over time and learned how to cut them out. One of the signs that I dislike a lot, and I could be wrong, but this is just from my personal experience, is when I meet somebody and they spill all their dirty secrets to me, I immediately walk away. There is something odd to me for somebody telling you these personal thoughts that you should be telling somebody that somebody you just met.
Yeah.
And it goes back to that thing where people try to bond over trauma and they try to bond over negative things.
Yeah.
And that's a bad sign for me because
I agree.
There's this idea, and this is how I feel. I'm not sure this is just from my personal experience of if that is the anchor point of our friendship where I'm here to therapize you and to listen to your emotions, this is where our relationship will start. And I don't see where the growth is going to be because now you feel a close bond to me. Once again, like that one girl, you now feel a close bond to me because I listened to your problems, right? But can I do it back to you? Are you going to be there for me? Because now I feel like my position's here and your position's here. And this is what our relationship is now. It's, oh, I feel stressed. I can now call David so I can talk about my problems. Thank you. I feel great. Can I do the same to you? Probably not. You might. And
I had a similar experience. Now that it just popped in my head, I totally forgot about this experience in college. When I went to University of San Diego. Oh, I should not say that, but I went to a school.
That's fine. How many years ago was that?
Yeah, and it was non-Asian. So there was a very small group of Asians, right? And I come from like 80% Asian popularity. So when I went to that school, I felt very outcasted and just didn't know how to socialize with these Barbies and Kens. And I met a friend. She was Asian and we became good friends. Like she kept coming over to my dormitory. We like hung out. Like we had a lot of things in common. And then she started like sleeping over as well and talking a lot about her stuff. And I was just there listening. Well, towards the end of that semester, another friend of mine was watching this and she's like, I don't know about this girl. She seems a little bit off. And I was like, oh, I think she's a good girl. Like, I think she's cool. Well, at the end of the semester, I remember this. I was so pissed at her. I don't know why, but I was so pissed at her that for some reason I had her mattress and her bed sheets in my room. So I tossed that over on the second floor to the first floor outside in the balcony because she wouldn't pick it up. So I was like, fuck this. And I tossed it out. I remember that.
So what happened?
I don't know. I never saw her again.
She never picked up her mattress?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I don't know. She never came around to pick it up. So I tossed it out. I'm like, go fucking pick it up.
But where did she go?
I don't know. I never saw her after that.
What the fuck? Did she exist?
I don't know. I truly don't know. Because after that, I didn't go to that school. So I left that school. So I never saw her again. And nor do I want to see her again.
Yeah. But do you see like how that happens? And by the way, too, this is not a blueprint for all your relationships. There's probably a lot of people out there who might have developed good relationships after that. Maybe that person felt better and they started helping you out too.
I do have that, but yes, that I absolutely agree. This is just personal experience, but my guard is that if I feel like we're gonna get close very fast in a short period of time, that's where I kind of put my guard up and like, I'm not sure if this is going to be a safe thing to do.
There's so many people that I've met that said that same phrase, right? Where they go, oh,
really?
Where they're like, I met person and we got close super fast. And then a year later, they're not friends anymore.
Yeah.
Well, because
you didn't build that foundation.
It's not to say that you can't, that there's not a success story in that. But when you connect with somebody super hard in the beginning, you're kind of going based. It's like the honeymoon stage in a relationship. Mm-hmm. You see everything through rose-colored glasses. You don't know if you have the wherewithal, the strength to take all this person's bullshit because you haven't seen the demons that this person has yet. So when they say stuff like, "Oh, I can't believe this person did that to me," what do you mean you can't believe? You didn't know this person. You don't know this person at all. So what can't you believe? This is a stranger that you connected with super fast over a singular topic, a singular subject, maybe a common enemy thing where you hated that same person. So how do you know this person? You don't know this person at all. It's okay for you to enjoy people's presence. It's okay and a good idea to have a great time with them. I don't think it's a smart choice to go ahead and let that person in your inner circle and know everything about you when you don't know that person at all.
What if that person lets you in their inner circle?
I think it's still too much. I think that we should get to know each other slowly and then see what happens. Because there's going to be stuff that you know about me that you're not going to like. Now, let's just see if you're going to be able to stick around.
I think the variance that's different here is the fact that you are someone who stays in one location for a really long time. Me, I move around so much that time.
You used to, though.
I used to. Yeah. Now I'm definitely more. I've never stayed in one location for this long, by the way. It's driving me nuts sometimes. But in the past, I have moved around so much, like even after college too, like living in Korea. I'm just thinking about this one friend that I got so close that I actually met her parents and we had dinner together. And she also met my dad. He came over to visit. And we all loved each other. We're just like happy family, good friends. Like we really enjoyed each other's presence. And then out of nowhere, she started flaking out. Like, would not accept my call, blah, blah, blah. And then the day that I was leaving Korea, she messaged me. And I was so upset.
Do you know what happened? Why she did that?
Nope. Till this day, I don't know.
But see how weird that shit is, though?
And these are the little experiences where now these data that I have of my experience and the same cycles that I've been having is now where my guard comes up. It's like, you don't get to be so close to me so fast. There are people like that at work.
Like I think the way that we phrase things sounds really harsh. Like I think that's normal, though. I think it's a good idea to develop strong bonds over time, right? Mm-hmm. I think strong bonds take time. It takes a lot of trials and tribulations for you to really figure out if you want to be around somebody or if you really like who this person is. You don't know these people, you know?
It does take time.
So that's what I'm saying. These fast, quick bonds are great. I enjoy them. There are people I met I fuck with instantly. Like, yo, I fuck with that person. But if somebody asked me, hey man, is that your friend? And I'm like, no. Like, yeah, we're cool. I say we're cool. There's nothing wrong with saying that. There's nothing wrong with saying somebody's cool. There's nothing wrong with saying that you're an acquaintance. There's none of that shit.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I just think that people just sometimes take it so wrong. They go, oh, we had a good time. Why aren't we friends? Because it takes time to be friends. Don't throw that word around so fucking easy. That's why I keep my friends for a very, very long time.
Is it weird that I think Maybe that's just me being nice. I'm like, I really appreciate that you think we're friends. Like,
No,
I
that's
appreciate
nice.
it.
I appreciate it too.
Those who I don't think that we're friends, I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. You really think that much of me?
Yeah.
But then I'm like, do you though?
I think it's just for them. They just like the quick bond and the friendship stuff. And it could be a definition difference.
Yeah, that's true.
But, you know, it's like when somebody, I just dislike it so much. Like, because of the negative experiences that I think a lot of people have dealt with.
It's not about them. It's about yourself. Like, I'm doing this for myself. I'm trying to protect myself not to get hurt again. So
and once again,
get
it doesn't mean that I dislike them.
Yeah.
It just means that we're just not there yet. Yeah. So it's like, oh, you're a homie. It's like,
is homie a friend to you? What's homie? Homie sounds like good friends.
Oh, a homie is different. Like homie, there's like acquaintances. There's like casual friends. Then there's the homie and there's the homie.
Then where's friends? Just friends.
I think friends might be homies. Friends and homies are the same thing. That's a friend. That's a homie. And then there's like the homie, which, you know, there's a handful of people like that. There's like in LA, it's what? Joe, Bart. You're
going to list it out now? I don't think you should list it out. You have too many friends.
No, I'm talking about homies. There's Joe, Bart, Khalif.
Is homie just men?
Typically for me, it's guys. Oh, Gio. You know, Joe, Bart, Gio, Khalif, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
Ray doesn't count because I've known Ray since I was a little kid. Like Ray to me is like family. He's like a brother.
What about your high school friends then?
No, I said here, LA.
Oh, like, but would you consider that family or homie? What do you call that?
Like to me, like the homie are the people like I die for them. You know what I mean? That's like my buddy Will, Gabo.
You still have
Phoebe.
A lot. I don't have that many.
Well, you weren't around enough.
Well, I think
like Phoebe, I've been friends with her since we were in high school. Gabo, I've been friends with since high school. He's my best friend. Like Will, known him since high school. He used to wake me up in the morning to go to school so I wouldn't fail.
Wait, you known them only since high school?
Since high school, yeah.
That was longer.
Since high school. Well, you know, I'm 33 now, so it's like being around these guys.
I mean, I've been around since high school. I don't have any friends like that since high school.
Becky, what are you talking about?
Becky's middle school.
That's great. That's even longer.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, you have a whole group of friends, like a handful.
But that group was even bigger. But now, like the ones that I make sure that I see all the time are people that we
see a single.
Yeah, and you know, and there's like the big friend group from Sacramento too. When I see them, it's all good too. But these people specifically hold a very special place in my heart.
Yeah,
like William, Gabo, and Phoebe.
I like how you could list them out.
Yeah,
I mean that's good. Oh yeah, that's good for you.
Yeah, so like I remember when Phoebe had her first son. That shit made me tear up a little bit, you know, because I've known her for so long. Like she's somebody that I genuinely care about, right? Mm-hmm. And so when I see her kids are like my nephews. Like I love those kids to death, and I've only seen them like 2 or 3 times, you know. But those kids are a family to me. I love those kids.
Do you guys all hang out together, or is this all separate?
We typically hang out together.
Do you think that also helps with the friendship?
No, it's different. Like there's trials and tribulations that we had to go through, like being through their relationships and everything else like that. Like whenever we see each other, like the idea that somebody used to wake me up to go to school makes me forever indebted to them. You know, William used to walk to my house, and I wouldn't be awake.
What a nice guy.
And he would wake me up so I could go to school.
What a nice guy.
I graduated high school because of him, you know.
You owe him your life.
You know, like Gabo has been there for me every step of the way. Phoebe,
so individually you had like special relationships.
Oh,
you know,
very
sometimes
special.
if it's a group, that like you're there because it's a group.
And Phoebe too, like we've been friends for so long. We'd be able to joke around and just kind of, she always allowed me to be myself. And by the way, in high school, she hated me too, by the way. She hated my fucking guts.
Oh, how did you guys become friends? And why did she hate you?
The things that she hated about me started to become funny.
Oh.
Because she was very serious about her academia and I was a class clown. So it was 2 separate people.
Yeah.
She'd be like, why the fuck are you even in AP class? I was like, I don't even know what AP class is. I'm here because my parents made me.
You can't be in AP class because your parents made you.
Yeah, they made me sign all the papers. I don't know what the fuck AP classes were.
Dude, So different. I worked so hard to get my AP classes and try to freaking pass.
I didn't know any of that shit. And I remember when they're like, oh, you're going to take the AP test. I was like, what the fuck is an AP test?
Oh my
They're like, oh,
God.
you can get college credit. I'm like, I'm not going to pass this shit. And I failed every single one.
Really? You did?
Yeah, I failed all of them. I didn't know what the fuck any of that stuff was.
What would you do if you had a kid like you? I wouldn't know how to deal with it. Because I'm a very self-sufficient person when it comes to school.
I don't know. Honestly, I would just figure out what their strengths are, right? My thing is too, I would just want them to always try their best. If they're not trying their best, I'm gonna have a fucking issue. You know?
Like going to school, you wouldn't be up to go to school. What was your reason for that? Because you didn't want to go to school?
I just didn't want to go to school.
Yeah, so what if your kid's like that too?
Then we have to talk about different forms of education. It's like, cool. Well, my parents never talked to me though. They never told me why school was important. They never told me why I needed school. It was just, if you go to school, you'll get a great job. But they didn't talk to me about what I wanted to do. They didn't know me. They didn't know me at all.
But I think that generation, a lot of
I'm not giving them shit. You were asking me what I would do with my kid. I'm hoping that I would know my child enough.
Oh, I see.
Because my parents couldn't be around for me. They were working 80 hours a fucking week. My dad was a pastor and he ran a full business. My mom couldn't drive. She doesn't speak English. He had so much shit on his plate. There was no way he was going to get to know me. He didn't have time to. Hopefully, now that I'm in, since I'm first generation, our kid's going to be a second. Well, our kid will be a second gen Asian. I'm hoping that he or she would have a great relationship with me where we can speak and I could talk and I'll know how they feel about things, what they want to do, what their dreams are.
What if they are in their, rebellious stage? Then they don't want to talk to you. They're like, I don't want to go to school.
Well, they got to talk to somebody. I'll say this though, one of my close friends, she's a lot older. Sylvia, their kids went their rebellious stage too, but they still talk to each other. They had their moments where they were emotional, screaming and yelling, but they did open up and they did have conversations and stuff.
I hope our kids could be like that. There's some, I've been watching some crazy shows it's actually a very good show. But they bring really crazy kids. It's this Korean therapy show where they bring citizens with a family that has trouble with kids and they record them and they're horrible.
I think a lot of people too, I don't have kids myself, so who knows? I could be talking out of my ass. But there's a lot of stuff too where, the parents need to take responsibility for that stuff because there's a lot of stuff that we don't see behind these doors.
They totally see it. That's what the therapists do. They're like, it's
not a kid problem. It's you. It's you as a parent problem.
It could be both. It's just like you don't understand your kid's issue. So you're not interacting properly where they could give you the right answer or able to open up. It's just, they're not doing bad. They're just not doing the right. They're not taking the right action. But it's not their fault.
No, I don't
think it's their fault. They don't know. That's why they come and ask for help.
Yeah, 100%. It's just difficult. But I can only hope for the best. And we are all going to make judgments about how people raise their kids. And I think now where I'm at this age too, where there's friends and I see them have their kids, and now I have to think about, do I want their want their kids around my kids? There's a whole
another level
issue
of
too
that.
now. It's like, do I want your kids around my kids?
Dude, adult stress is no joke.
There's just so much shit to think about. Because I know, I didn't understand what my parents were going through when they were like, I don't want to hang out with these people because I don't like their kids and they don't want them to be around you. And now I get it.
Yeah.
Because there'll be a bad influence on you. And I've seen it happen multiple times where that they were hanging out with somebody and that kid that was their friend, they had a fucking shit kid. They influenced the other kids to do fucking bad shit.
Oh.
Do drugs and do all this other stuff. And this happened multiple times. So now I get it.
But then don't you want your kid also to be aware of these situations?
No, they're going to go to school and they're going to see all this stuff and hopefully we'll have conversations about it. But if I could choose to not put my kid around somebody like that, then I'm going to choose that option not to. Right?
Yeah. Oh my God. It seems like a whole nother level of stress that I'm just I don't know if I could handle. I could barely handle myself right now.
Yeah. Well, guys, that wraps up this episode of the Genius Brain Podcast.
You didn't end that well. I said something. You're like, Well, that's it, folks.
Well, I thought you were just kind of thinking out loud. I didn't know that you wanted
What
a
you
response.
could say is, don't worry, you'll do fine. Well, guys, that's a wrap for Genius
I know
Brain
you'll do
Podcast.
fine. You'll do
God,
great.
Dad, this guy, he's not even listening. He's like, well, guys, thank you.
Well,
It's okay. I told myself this is what I have to do. Telling myself, you'll be okay.
I didn't know that
then
you
that's
wanted
what
that
you guys
answer.
should do.
I didn't know you wanted that to be
well.
answered. I thought you were just thinking out loud.
Whatever. That's all.
You do that a lot, though.
Whoa.
Think out loud. You do that all the time.
That's what I need to do, or else I'll
Dude,
boil.
I'm literally talking about. So we were in Glendale.
I thought we're done.
No, we're not ending this podcast because I need to defend myself for a second.
Defend yourself on what?
One time we were walking in Glendale, and this is only the one example I can remember, but this has happened multiple times.
Sure.
We're walking, and then she starts mumbling off to herself, right? And I'm like, what's up? And she goes, I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to myself. I'm like, cool. And then we start walking, and then she starts mumbling again, and she goes, hello? I'm talking to you. I'm like, okay, how the fuck am I supposed to know if you're asking questions to yourself or you're asking questions to me? And she goes, and what did you say? You're just supposed to know.
You know why? Okay, you know why I do that? Partially, that's just who I am. But the other part of me is because you're always on your phone or preoccupied.
I am not always
or you're
on my
not
phone. Hey.
listening to me.
No.
Well, guys, that's the end of it.
We're not ending this podcast. It's not that I'm always on my, and you know for a fact I'm not always on my phone. I had the screen time to prove it. So,
what? When you were in Hawaii? Oh my God! Don't even do that,
you
David.
guys are ridiculous. You know
you're
why?
so
She always thinks I'm
stupid.
on my phone because I swipe my phone to check my crypto.
No, it's not. I see you. You're on your Instagram. You're on Twitter. You're on.
My average screen time a day, 2 hours.
That was in
At
Hawaii,
most.
by the way.
At
It
most,
wasn't
it's
Hawaii.
2 hours. Nice try, dude. The
know
data
what?
says
We'll
otherwise.
circle
The
back in a
statistic
month.
and the
How
data
about
says
that?
otherwise. You don't know
In a
anything.
month.
I will fist fight you
You want
right
to
now.
bet? Let's bet on
What
this.
do you want to bet on? I bet you have more screen time than I do, stupid.
I bet. Well, that could be true because
in
I'm
your
always on my
face.
phone.
Don't talk to me about who's on the phone.
I'm actually.
She's on the phone way too much, dude.
I use my phone for work. So.
No. She uses her phone for Instagram Reels. All I hear is swipe some video, and she goes, swipe. Oh my God, that's so cute. Swipe. Dude, this dance is so cool. Oh my God, did you see? I'm like, oh my word.
This is why he doesn't talk to me, and that's why I gotta talk to myself. But sometimes I just need response like that. Okay, like I said, I'm like, oh my God, I
don't
can't
know whether you're
handle the
saying
stress.
things out loud for a thought or if you're asking me a question. That's what's confusing about you.
Why you gotta
know
sit
this.
like that and raise your
Because
voice?
you're making me melt.
Why am I making you melt? Am I too hot?
Huh?
I'm sorry.
No, because you're giving me heat for no reason for stuff that you know that you have weird habits with.
You already know that. You know you're married to a person with weird habits.
I know. So you know this about yourself. So you can't ask me why I don't know when you're talking
but
to
I'm
me.
doing podcasts. I'm not
Yeah, but
thinking
when
out
you ask,
loud.
I feel like when you, we'll look back at the footage and see where your eyes are at. Because I feel like when you asked, you were like, this is kind of off to the side.
I'm always doing that.
Then how the fuck is somebody supposed to know if you're talking to
Well,
them?
that's why we're doing podcasts. We're talking to each other. So if I look up there, I'm still talking to you.
No, it's not.
Excuse me.
People cannot ask. I was like, oh, I wonder what that is. And then go back to a conversation.
Well, sure, whatever. Anyone could make their own opinions on this. The point is,
Well, guys, this wraps up this episode of the Genius Brain Podcast. I am your host, David So. This is my.
It's wet.
Huh? It's not wet. It's cold and clammy. That's different. Put your feet against mine. Do it now.
Gross.
Do it now.
Go.
No, put it against mine. No, put it against mine. Do it now.
No.
Do it now.
I don't want your
You have
sticking.
to.
It looks
It's not
so gross.
wet.
It's clampy.
We're not going to end this podcast unless you touch my feet. Touch my feet.
No. Gross.
Touch my feet.
No, you don't have my
Touch
consent.
my feet. You don't. Yeah, what the hell are you talking
I
about?
don't know.
Here, touch my feet.
Only if you admit
What?
that you didn't respond. And that you could say,
I
it's
said
okay.
I said I didn't respond. It's there. Evidence is there. Oh, we're just gonna start calling people out?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any boxers on right now because you.
Why? Because of me?
Yes, because of you.
Is your boxers inventory dependent on me?
Yes, it is.
Oh my God.
You know the deal. I buy the laundry detergent. I cook.
You know the laundry detergent we're using right now? I bought it.
Huh?
Yeah, in your face, David.
No. You didn't have to buy it. I bought laundry detergent.
What do you mean? I bought it first because we didn't have any.
I buy the cleaning
You bought
supplies.
it after. We did it. We needed it and it wasn't there.
I help around the house. I clean the backyard. I do all this stuff. I cook. And I buy the groceries. And your deal is that you're supposed to help with laundry. And you haven't been doing it. And now I'm underwearless. My ball sack is on this chair. And you don't care.
No one asked you to use all your boxers within 3 days. I do it once a week,
3
every weekend.
days. You did this last week too. You have not
You weren't even around last week.
You have not been working on your end of the deal. You know what? I've been working so good on my end of the deal that I even got you food before I left. So you wouldn't starve. You know the trade-off. I cook, I clean the back area, I make things nice, I buy the food, I buy the detergent and household products, and you just have to help me with the laundry. And now look at me, ball sack out.
Oh my God. Are we really calling it all out?
It's so breezy in here.
Oh my gosh. Now you have clean boxers on the bed.
That I had to do myself.
No, I'm sorry.
I had to cook.
This woman is so busy. No, can't keep up with
What the hell are you talking about, lady? You were laying down next to a fire that I made for you. I literally made you a fire. Yeah. What is this? What happened here?
Here's the thing, though. Everything that you mentioned, you like to do it.
She was laying next to a fireplace while I was in this office working.
Was excited to.
This girl is ridiculous. She fooled me. She made me feel that it was going to be equal, and now I'm here doing everything.
Everything that you like to do.
You want me to give birth to our child too? Is that what you want? I would push it out my butthole and have a shit kid.
Yes, I would
love
Well, guys,
this wraps this episode of the Genius Brain Podcast. You can catch Mariel at Mariel__song. And you can catch me at DavidSoComedy and Genius Brain Podcast. Well, every Thursdays and Sundays for the rest of this year until January. We're going once a week, baby. Thank you guys for tuning in. I love you very guys much. What the hell did I just say right there? I'm so exhausted. Touch my feet before we end. We have to do it before we end.
Sit straight.
I can't because I need to reach my abs. Hurry up. Touch my feet.
Where's
the
your
whole
ass?
feet.
Oh my God, what did I get out of this? I need to get something
Hurry
out
up,
of this.
my abs can't take it.
What can I get out of this?
Just do it so we can end this podcast. Touch my feet.
There.
We'll see you guys next time.
It's so gross. It's so gross.